This is the Clean Hits Hockey Podcast, and today we are stoked to bring on first-time guest Francis, founder of Big Head Hockey. Francis uses a now iconic animated player headshot to point out unique stats and absolutely has top-notch comprehensive breakdowns of current and historical NHL players on his YouTube channel. His online platforms have a cult-like following that can be found on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Reddit, where he has a massive audience due to his elite content and entertaining personality. And we are so excited to be here chatting with the founder and the man behind the scenes of Big Head Hockey. Francis, how are you doing?
Oh my God, that's a great introduction, Brad. I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing today. Man, how are you guys doing?
Yeah,
doing well.
Yeah, it's like only 103 today in Phoenix. So
Oh my God,
terribly hot. But
oh my God.
Before we really dive into this, where can people find your content? If you want to shout out all your socials.
Yeah, so on Twitter at Big Head Hockey, I've been doing that, and then I've got a little other account called Big Head Hockey Clips I run sometimes, and that's just posting little gameplay clips here and there, little things I find. And then I've got a YouTube channel, which is also Big Head Hockey, and then that's where I do trade breakdowns, scouting reports, and documentary style videos throughout the year.
Yeah, and the YouTube videos are just absolutely incredible. So if you aren't subscribing to that, absolutely make sure you are. Check out that JJ Peterka video if you're a Utah Mammoth fan. But every single video in there is just something you have to digest.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Of course. And for those who have yet to discover your YouTube channel, your X account, Reddit, give us a little bit of insight on your path to building such a unique brand in which you create these simple but yet so beautiful headshots for NHL players like we've never seen before, all the while like masterfully breaking down NHL topics on your channels in a storybook-like fashion. Man, you are an incredible storyteller. So give us a little bit of insight on how you built this brand and where it started.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah. So I actually started the brand when I was in second year or end of second year at university. And it was one of my friends I had in high school. Like we'd always talk hockey, and we were Canucks fans. Still are Canucks fans. So we would talk hockey, talk Canucks all the time, and we were pretty into stats and stuff, and we kind of use that to back up what we were finding. But then we weren't too into stats where we would think it's gospel. So we kind of had a bit of a middle ground niche with that. So around 2022, I think, is when we kind of decided, why don't we just start a Twitter account just to kind of post some of our random things we talk about. So a lot of the time we'd be, talking, hanging out, and we'd be talking about, like Kaprizov's, playoff goals or whatever. And then we'd end up just turning it into a tweet. And then we kind of did that for like 6 months and then didn't really have any followers. Wasn't really a thing. It was kind of just a passion project. And then, I kind of wanted to turn it a bit more into a business. And so I started kind of running it a bit more based on getting better attention, I guess, and kind of turning it less from like extremely niche stat into more of like what are people kind of interested in hearing and people are interested in seeing. And so Will, my partner, amazing guy, but he probably didn't want it to be as much of a business, super busy with school. And so I kind of started taking it over for myself around then. And since then we kind of started the YouTube, or I guess I say we, but I started the YouTube last year and then started posting documentary style videos. And that kind of started because I've always been interested in other sports for that. And I always thought that there was kind of a niche that wasn't really being touched on in the hockey world. So I would watch like NBA videos during COVID, and it got me super into the NBA. And like, we didn't have any basketball in Vancouver. Talking about that before this podcast started, Vancouver Grizzlies had to move away right around when I was born. Pretty stupid. But, I was always interested in basketball because of these videos. And I thought, hey, if we can get hockey fans interested because of videos like this, that would be pretty cool. I've always felt that hockey is like the best sport in the world. And I always felt that if people aren't tuning into it, then there's got to be some kind of marketing issue, or there's got to be some issue where it's not in front of the right eyes. So I thought maybe we can, try to do what the NBA does or what NBA fans do with these videos. And, seems like it's been successful so far, but still a lot of work to go, I think.
Oh man, it's been wildly successful. We've been chatting in the Discord about it for like the last week. Everybody's loving it. I think Trent was the first one to share the JJ Paterka trade breakdown, and there's stuff I learned about Paterka that I had no idea. So you definitely go beyond the surface level, and it's appreciated. Just a quick sidebar. Obviously the NFL is huge in the States, right? And so there's a YouTube channel called Flemlo Raps. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he started as it was going to be his journey to being a musician. And then he's just a massive NFL fan. And he started doing like these weekly NFL documentaries. And when I first started diving into your other ones, like the San Jose Joe Thornton video, I'm like, man, this guy is just the same level of, personality and uniqueness to his videos. So might be worth checking out, but
Yeah.
the guy's blown up. I think he's got like 950,000 followers on YouTube, and he's it might be worth just checking out just to see, like, there are a ton of similarities there. And I say that with the highest of grace, because it's awesome to see how somebody can do that in hockey. Like you said, hockey's the best sport in the world. So I'm hoping that that's you, and I think you're on the right path. So
hey, sure. What was his name?
Flemlo Raps is
Flemlo
FLEMLO Raps. You should check him out. He's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's massive. He loves to tell like those inside stories, and they're all crazy and like documentary style. So it's really cool. So the animations, where did those come from? When did that start playing a part? Like the
that was actually pretty early on.
Okay.
So we found an artist online, and we kind of paid for. We just wanted like one head for every team.
Okay.
So it started out with like Jack Hughes and the Devils and Pedersen for the Canucks, and then it kind of expanded over time, where there's new guys that are exciting, or there's random guys we kind of found funny. So we got Brendan Tanev, like. Thought that'd be kind of a fun head to get. And then over time, it's now I think almost 400 heads, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
a lot of different designs that have been made. And we just got another 4 or 5 today. So got one of myself, actually got one for Zane Parak. We've been updating like Jack Hughes, he just got a new one. Kiefer Sherwood got one for the hits record. So
wait, crazy. So when a player gets like a whole new flow, do you have to go back and
or like lose the
big head to make sure you
sometimes
right? Or
like the Panarin one, Jack Eichel, he chopped off his hair and like just nothing the same anymore. So I try my best in Illustrator and Photoshop, but like the artist is so much better than me, so I just usually get him to do it over again.
Yeah. I feel like you need to have like alerts when these guys are getting their haircuts, then, so you can make sure that your artist is ready just in case.
He subscribes to Great Clips.
Might be a good sponsorship, actually.
Yeah. It'd be wild to see like every time a player loses a tooth, like Big Head Hockey just put out a new smile alert. So
Drew Doughty's got no teeth in his photo. I wonder if like. Maybe you can Photoshop in some teeth when he's retired or something.
Oh, there you go.
That's fixed up.
Some good old veneers. So, when was your first breakthrough where your outlet started garnering a lot more attention? And did you anticipate such growth when you started it?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't really know what to expect. I've always kind of seen like accounts like JFresh on Twitter, and then like Sportsnet Stats is kind of what this account could be. And then it was about a year after it started. It was this one tweet about Lafreniere, and it went from like, I think the most likes we'd ever got on a tweet before was like 500, and that one got 5,000 and like 1 million something views. And it was just so the tweet was just like, Lafreniere and the 7 games against the Devils, and he had 0 goals, 0 everything. And then I think people got pretty pissed.
So Devils fans showed up.
A lot of Devils fans are pretty hyped up, and they were hating on Lafreniere for a while after that. And it's kind of tough because like when something like that happens, like even if I like Lafreniere, I'm just like the guy who hates Lafreniere now on Twitter. So I gotta kind of gotta play into it. And like I try to hype him up once in a while, but now the Devils fans don't retweet those ones, so they never get any attention. And everyone thinks I hate Lafreniere, man.
Lafreniere just has like the most beautiful big head portrait out of everybody. Like
it's a little dirty.
It's like trying to get in his good graces any way I can. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, yeah, just based off of the short time we've had with you already, but you have such a unique personality and you're wildly entertaining. You pair that with your comprehensive breakdowns and insane video editing and pure hockey knowledge. You're an absolute weapon, dude. What do you foresee? Fair. Yeah.
So fair.
What do you foresee in your future? Do you have any bigger plans or ideas? Do you want to maybe like work for any networks one day? Where do you see this all going in the long run?
So, we've done actually some stuff. Like we did TSN's free agent frenzy 2 years ago. And that was pretty cool. And, shout out Mike Lane from TSN. He was like a super nice guy, really walked us through that. And then last year I started meeting with, some guys from the NHL and kind of talking about them and some of their marketing ideas. And, I've been like on their Instagram, actually, I've been giving them some advice. I think that, they've changed some of their posts because of some of the breakdowns I've kind of given them for that. So I've always kind of wanted to maybe work for the NHL one day, but as of right now, Big Head's a full-time job. So I'm just kind of doing this and seeing how far this goes. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to kind of expand the YouTube until it's a bit more of a, almost like John Boy Media, where there's like different segments and different hosts. And yeah, I'm thinking I might be hiring some people soon, which is like pretty crazy because, I'm talking to friends that like I would talk about Big Head with when it had, no followers, and I'm talking about maybe hiring them, and it feels like Mark Zuckerberg's social network moment. And I'm like, man, like, it doesn't need to be that deep. Like, I'll just give you a little cash and like, I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Well, we're excited to see where it goes, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And, Utah fans, I think you've won over quite a bit with that JJ Peterka video. We were telling you, I think we've all watched it multiple times now. It's an absolute beauty of a video. And it was really interesting to see all the different points you brought into how he could be a potential fit. With Peterka on board, and with full immunity here, don't worry, we won't let him bring out the pitchforks and torches.
Okay.
What are your true thoughts on Utah's trajectory over the next few years? What do you see in Utah's future? What has to happen for things to go right? And if it doesn't go right, what do you think might be to blame?
So, okay. I mean, that's a really fair question. Before this podcast started, I really wanted to be, up to snuff on Utah and kind of like their whole team and what they're doing. And I kind of looked at some other teams that were maybe playing a similar style in the last decade and the ones that were really successful at it and the ones that weren't as successful. So I saw that New Jersey might be the most comparable team. And then with that, I thought that Logan Cooley was pretty similar to Jack Hughes in a lot of ways.
Right.
And I think until I saw that, I wasn't as sold. But now I feel like this team might actually have some real legs going. And I mean, they have Tej and they have Simishev and Boot, and they got, they just picked up Desnoyers in this draft this year. They have so many prospects that are kind of coming in that even if right now I think upper end, okay, like say Cooley does take that next step, maybe 2 steps, and he is Jack Hughes, top 10 player in the league. Genther becomes a 40-goal guy. I still am not entirely sold that the current guys that are going to be playing in September are good enough to win a cup. But I think with the prospects that are coming in and maybe even with the trades that come from the prospects, I mean, Armstrong's super aggressive. I think there is a real chance here. Like this team is looking really good. Like they got a lot of young pieces. They're really developing well. And like they're playing a system which is so fun. And I mean, we saw New Jersey be really successful with it against Lafreniere 2 years ago. So, maybe this ends up being a similar situation.
Yeah, I can see it, man. And, speaking about the current roster players versus the future, there's one guy who's due a contract this year that's been a little bit of a controversial figure among Mammoth fans. Some people love him. Some people are ready to move on. But in watching your video about the uniquely entertaining rush offense that Utah has constructed, there's one player when it comes to controlled zone entries and just the way he plays that made me wonder, like, hey, is this guy actually a really great fit? And should he be somebody who could be retained? And that's Nick Schmaltz. Any thoughts on Schmaltz and how he fits in and, what role he plays into the team identity?
Man, you know what? Looking at Schmaltz, he's kind of crazy. I was actually going to ask you guys about Schmaltz, what you thought. So, like, okay, to me, he's probably not first liner on a contender, but yeah, probably is a second liner on a contender. Yeah, he's a really good player. I see him almost like Kadri for Toronto a couple of years ago, where he's like a little bit older than the rest of the core, and he might be that big piece that isn't a part of the rest of the core. Um, he's due for an extension this year, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, what kind of money were you thinking of giving him? Because I feel like he is the kind of guy that could go off and get 9 million next year when the cap goes up.
For sure.
And, some team really needs a second line center, maybe even some team wants a first line center and they think Schmaltz can be that guy. I don't know if committing 9 or 10 million to Schmaltz would be that smart going forward. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know how he fits in with this core, especially, I mean, Desnoyers. I think he might be the perfect replacement in a couple of years where like that's a guy who plays a two-way game, like maybe not the fastest, maybe not, controlled entry guy, but maybe someone who can play a little bit heavier. So maybe you just internally replace him and then try to move on from Schmaltz. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean,
Yeah, I think he's
oh, go ahead.
I think he's a versatile player, right? He plays center, he plays wing. He's mostly played wing over the last few years for Utah. I think the highs are really high with him, and the lows can be a little bit low, right? I think he plays a very center style game from the wing, and I think the reason he's not playing it as a center is because of some of the downsides there, right? Like he's really good at transporting the puck. He's really good at those controlled zone entries. He's really good on the back check, at least in the neutral zone. It's just when he's in his own zone, he can be a little bit lost, a little bit of a passenger. I think he's maybe not as much of an inside player as the identity they're trying to build. And I'm not sure if there's room necessarily for this guy beyond a few years from now. Yeah. So to me, it comes down to the length of the extension that he wants, right? It's not so much the AAV for me. It's the term. If he's willing to take, 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years, I'd be potentially interested in that. But anything beyond that, I feel like now you're cutting into the prime peak years of Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther and, a lot of guys who are going to be needing raises before too long. And instead you've got all the money allocated to Schmaltz. So that's kind of my conundrum, I guess, from my perspective. Yeah. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. He's one of the most confusing players that I've ever watched. Yeah. And it's just like, it's so weird to be so torn on a 60-point player, right? Like back when we were all Coyotes fans, we were absolutely begging for a 60-point player. And Schmaltz is that. I mean, he's gotten close a couple times, and then this last year, I think he's had like 62, if I'm not mistaken. And he passes the eye test with the zone entries, like to your guys' points. That's a pretty lethal ability in today's NHL with how fast people are to be able to just cleanly enter the zone. But like Trent said, I don't necessarily see him, mucking it up in the corners. He's more of like a perimeter floater that can make an elite pass at Clayton Keller. They have such fun chemistry. So that's one of the main positives. But I like your Kadri comparison. The only thing that I wish is like if he played like Kadri, this guy is he's immovable, right? He's like at that point a guy that can put up 60 points and punch you in the face in the playoffs and light a fire under your ass. It's tough. It's one of the most, like Trent said, he's one of the most controversial players because you'd love to keep him, but I can't. I don't think I could ever pay a winger, especially with our wing depth, because we view him as a winger, $9 million like he could command on the market with this point totals.
Yeah. Only so many power play spots too. So as the prospects come up, it seems like there's a little bit of a writing on the wall. But this year's going to be really interesting with him too, because he may not be playing with Keller like as much, if at all, outside of the power play. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when that leash is cut and if he plays with Peterka on the second line or Guenther. It'll be interesting to see if he can kind of have that same chemistry and point per game kind of average if he can keep that up without playing with his best bud, if that's how they make up the lines too. But
do you think Schmaltz could be one of those guys that gets traded mid-season, like maybe not even an upgrade but like a lateral move? I was almost thinking like, after I said Kadri, like would Calgary maybe be interested in moving Kadri for Schmaltz right now, and then you get a bit of an older guy who maybe has higher ceiling, maybe a playoff performer? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
That's a fun trade idea. That's
I
a
would,
fun
I
show.
would, I would
Might be
kill to have
interesting. I don't know.
Kadri on the team. Yeah,
I
Kadri
know.
is exactly what the team needs. Yeah, they're they're the mammoth, right? And there's a lot of mammoth pieces coming, but they're not that mammoth right now, especially not in the top six, right? Kadri's not the biggest guy in the world, but he sure plays like it. And I think this is an issue that the roster faces, that they're trying to adjust through the prospect pool, through the drafting, right? They got these big redwoods coming. They've got Daniil Boot coming. They've got Maverick Lamoureux. They have Thomas Lavoie. They have Dmitry Simishev. All these guys coming who are the big, massive sequoias, right? That's gonna be able to instill some of that size that's missing currently. But I started thinking about that when I was listening to your Peterka video, how unique the rush offense is for Utah, how entertaining they are. And then I started thinking, is there maybe a misalignment with what's coming? Is this going to be the perfect complement, or are we going to end up a little bit bipolar, right? Like half the roster is trying to play one way, half the roster is trying to play another way. I'm interested in your thoughts on how they might be able to marry those two things together, or have you seen examples of teams that have been able to do that successfully, kind of run both styles simultaneously?
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, well, one team that really is really interesting in this conversation is Florida, because in 2020, 2021, and 2022, they were the best rush team in hockey, and they were so good. I think they had the best offensive metrics of any team, in the history of these advanced metrics. Like, it's crazy how good they were at generating chances, but then they were swept in the second round against Tampa Bay. And then they made that huge trade to go and get Matthew Tkachuk. And I think that was the same summer they fired. They had Quenneville and they lost Quenneville. I don't remember their coach in the meantime. Then they got Maurice right after that. So they made the change to go from a rush-based team that was really successful at generating chances towards a bit more of a shoot and retrieve, like go get it in the corners. And I wonder if maybe that is what Utah kind of does in 5 years. And that's kind of the plan, where like they want to copy the whole Florida idea, where you start as a team that's really good at generating chances, and you're a team that can build chemistry for a couple of years in the offensive zone and develop a really good power play. And then, as Desnoyers comes in and Boot comes in, and you get bigger guys, and maybe that's when you make a big trade, and maybe you try to get power forward, you try to get a guy who's a little bit more physical, and then maybe they try to transition away from it. I don't think they're going to keep this rush offense style forever, and I think that in the playoffs, like, you have to be so exceptionally good, and you have to have McKinnon, or you have to have McDavid in order to play this style successfully in the playoffs. And even then it gets shut down every other year. So I think transitioning into the dump and chase style a little bit more, like, I don't know, I think it will be smart in a couple of years, but for now, like, the fun moments, especially, Utah just came here, like, have the most fun regular season possible. Like, have that 2017 Toronto season, where everyone's fired up, highlights every other night, introduce everyone to the the players, and then over time kind of develop that playoff style.
Yeah. And they're stealing Florida's players one by one anyway. So.
That's true. Finland, Schmidt,
Vanacek. Who's next?
Kind of bouncing off like just how entertaining the team was last season. I think especially the chatter from Utah fans now is playoffs is the expectation for this season. So looking back at last season, do you have any gut feelings of why they weren't a playoff team, and maybe what was missing from that roster, and what type of holes and players should they be trying to fill to ensure that they get to the playoffs this season? Or do you think they've kind of done that already?
Yeah, I think part of it kind of comes from, like, if you simulate that season a couple times, or if you play it back a couple times, I think there is a universe where they do make the playoffs. And that's kind of just the nature of sports when there's so much parity. Like, some teams have to miss. So I think the team was kind of borderline, and they were in that tier anyways. And if, St. Louis didn't go on that run, maybe Utah does and they get it. So I think, really they added Peterka, and that's going to be really exciting. They did lose Doan, and, Doan's a good player, but he wasn't changing the score of every other game. And then losing Kesselring, I think in the short term is going to be a little bit impactful. But I think the growth from the young players, and I also think adding Peterka is just, it's enough where you can really say, okay, like this team, they have such a strong identity. They're young guys, or, they all work together, they play together, and they're definitely a playoff favorite. I think if you really break it down, I think come September, when people really start looking at these rosters and they break it all down, like it's early in the summer right now, but like you're not picking Vancouver over them right now. Like you're going to start having the conversation that like LA is like, LA lost some pieces, Utah added some pieces. Like maybe that's what the conversation is. Maybe Utah is actually 5th in the West instead of 8th. But, I think Peterka was a great add. I think he's not going to be as productive as last season, unfortunately. But I still think he's going to contribute to the identity. And I think the team is so strong right now that they're, I'm picking them for the playoffs personally. And then if they don't make it, that's sports. But like,
that's the potentially injuries again. I mean, they were missing Marino and Jersey for most of the season last year. Both Gunther and Cooley missed 10+ games, but that kind of sparked an idea in my head too of, if they make the playoffs, who would you like to see them match up against for maybe the most entertaining series, rather than like, who do you think they would be able to get out of that first round with? How about just on pure entertainment, like chef's kiss entertainment idea?
Okay. So actually, this is a question I was thinking about a little bit before today. And so I was thinking about all these teams that are kind of having their coming out parties, and like, like Colorado, when they added Makar and they beat Calgary a couple years ago. And then, Florida, they added Kachuk and they beat Boston after they set the win record. And it was so big, and they went on this big. A lot of the time, it's like these teams that come into the playoffs a little bit of an underdog, and then they play a really good team, and then they beat them. And then it's like, okay, like now the underdog is the good team. So I was saying, I think dream matchup might be the Dallas Stars.
I
Dallas,
like it a lot.
I don't think they made any improvements on their defense this year. They're already one of the worst teams at stopping the rush in the league. They're so good. They're kind of the Goliath of the Central, where they made, the conference finals 3 years in a row. So if this team, who hasn't, the first time they ever make the playoffs, they beat the Kings of the Central Division, and it's a matchup which I think they match up pretty well in. And, we'll see. They don't have DeBar anymore, so like, who knows what they'll do. But I think that's kind of a dream matchup for Utah, where it's a crazy opponent that if you beat, like, you can't lose, basically. Like if you lose, you lost to Dallas, but if you win, you beat Dallas. I think
that's an interesting one. And Dallas really started getting leaky for shots against near the end of the season and into the playoffs, where years previous to that, they were really solid and always one of the biggest shot suppression teams. And that feels like it could be an absolute recipe for disaster against a team like Utah.
Exactly. That'd be so fun. I was also thinking like Colorado.
Oh, go ahead.
Colorado.
Yeah. So I think deep down, Utah fans would love Colorado because the geography, the proximity. There's a little bit of bad blood from the Arizona years too, when Colorado just completely depants the Coyotes in the bubble playoff series.
Put up a touchdown on us.
McKinnon just spanked everybody,
back
including
games.
Connor Garland, on live TV, and it almost felt like it should have been censored, but. Ever since then, that period, it seems like the teams actually get really chippy. It's kind of odd, especially because Colorado used to just be such a different caliber of team after the Coyotes went into that big rebuild. But I think that would be a really fun one too. Unfortunately, in that situation, though, this team does kind of struggle against like the McKinnons and McCarrs and those big minute type players, superstar.
Yeah.
I was thinking like if there's another surprise team and they both end up kind of in the middle of the standings a little bit, like if Utah overachieves and maybe another team kind of overachieves and get to see who it is going to take the next step, like who's going to stop being on the bubble and start being a playoff favorite. That would be a fun matchup too, just to kind of up and comers battling it out, right? But I'm gonna lean with your pick, Francis, on Dallas, and just see if there could be like more of a changing of the guard moment. Would be a lot more satisfying, I think.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
I'm in it for the laughs. I would love it for the Colorado and Utah Snow Bowl to go down. I would love it if we had like a Ice Age style face off with the Nashville Predators, with the Saber-tooth Tiger and the Utah Mammoth. I would love to beat the living feathers off the Ducks somehow, but honestly, I like the idea. I forgot who mentioned it before we started recording, but I love the idea of Clayton Keller's revenge against Bill Guerin in the Minnesota Wild. Clayton Keller, I don't know if there's a stat, and I'm sure there is, but after he got snubbed from the Four Nations squad, this guy was a man on fire against the Wild. He played so much more aggressive. I think he had a couple points in each game. Even Utah's social media team got on it, and that's what actually sparked this shirt. Is I feel like one of the announcers on ESPN said, Clayton Keller was just talking, or they were just talking about the Four Nations during the broadcast, and one of the announcers said, Clayton Keller's a good player. He's just not versatile enough. And then I think it was like minutes later, he just puts up he makes like is that the same play with this?
Yes.
In game with this? Yeah. So he takes a puck to the eyebrow and gets this just massive shiner, and then continues to play on and put up some points and just play again, like playing like a man on fire. And our social media team is like Mr. Versatility himself gets us on the board. And it's just, you could tell that he's got a chip on his shoulder from that. And little sidebar, I don't know there's any way that you can keep Keller off the Olympic team this year. That'd be kind of crazy, but it's a story for another day. But I'd love to see Keller's revenge against the Wild. So I'm going with that one.
Yeah,
I got one more sicko option too. And that would be the Winnipeg Jets 2.0 facing off against the former original Winnipeg Jets in the new location, and Utah getting past them in the first round, because that would kind of, in a weird way, be like the ultimate why you're hitting yourself moment.
That's the reverse the curse, dude. That's how we reverse the curse of the Coyotes. It's the curse of the Jets. If Utah beats Winnipeg in round one, it's over. We're free of it finally.
Yeah.
It's a jubilee. Yeah.
We're just reverse engineering everything. If that happens, we have to make the most convoluted and confusing trade tree episode ever. Like these rosters are somehow intertwined some way, but we're gonna need you guys to follow along. Be a 3-hour episode, but I like that.
All right, I'm gonna take the playoffs off the board because I don't want to get memed and have the old the playoffs gif going in the comment section too much. But I want to turn it back to kind of the system that you kind of highlight so much in that JJ Peterka video. And do you kind of feel like that success off the rush is something that is attributed to Coach Tournier just kind of doing his thing? Or do you think Tournier is using what he's got in his players to get the most out of them?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely say it's like, using the most we got out of the players, but like, I mean, Sergachev has been really successful in another system, and Durzi, I think he's definitely found his home in Utah. Like, he's been so good, even though he missed like 40 something games, 50 games. Marino was a very good defensive defenseman at one point too. Like, I'm thinking more on the defensive end, but like the way they play now is just like chucking it up. Like, they're really just only thinking about getting into their zone quickly and then seeing what they can do from there. So I think it might be like coaching first and foremost. Like, hey, like, listen, guys, like, just get this up ice. Like, figure out a way to get it up ice, and then you'll figure out your problems from there. So that's kind of where I'm thinking with it.
Yeah, cool. And it kind of goes into Trent's question earlier. I'm interested to see, as the new prospects come in, that maybe a little bit bigger and more redwood-ish and kind of that piss and vinegar style player, how that adapts.
Yeah.
One of Bill Armstrong's favorite phrases is just stack good player on top of good player on top of good player, right? And so he seems to be doing that, right? And so hopefully it gets to the point where Andre Tourney has one of the easiest jobs in the world. He's just like, hey, go out there. I know you guys can do it. Just throw the puck to somebody. Somebody's going to make it happen. So, well, we've kept you a little bit of time, so I appreciate that. I just want to wrap this up with like a little fun, quick hit kind of thing. Just go through some stuff here and generate some fun conversation here. So you mentioned you were a Vancouver Canucks fan, so I'm gonna remove that question from it. But who was your favorite?
Wait,
NHL...
but
whoa,
I just want to say, hey, thank you for Dylan Gunther, by the way. I appreciate
yes,
that.
thank you.
I even had that written down. I was pissed about that. I was gonna bring that up. That actually has been like one of the biggest like grievances I've had in the last couple of years. I think he's the best player in that draft. I think he's a little bit better than Johnston. Like, really? He would go first overall on a redraft and like,
wow,
ninth overall. Are you serious? We got Garland out of it. Fair enough. We also got the buyout for OEL. That's like $5 million. It's crazy.
That we're somehow still on the hook for. I can't stand it.
Man, it's like what? Yeah.
Like, the whole team moved to the state. Can we at least just get that off our record? You know, like we don't.
Man, if you get that off your record, take our buyout too, because like the $5 million is killing us right now.
I know.
We have to get rid of Joshua for that. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, he just went to Toronto, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Man, Genther is so good. So I grew up in BC, I grew up in Vancouver. A lot of my friends played with or against Genther, and like growing up, everyone knew how good he was. Like, he was a guy that like was in the same conversations as Bedard, basically, of like, okay, this guy is so good. Like he's the best guy in our age group. Like I think he played in Alberta on like the Northern Extreme or one of those teams, and like he was so good that it was like a joke that he wouldn't be like, one of the best players in the NHL one day. And like, ninth overall because he only played like 14 games. And then, who knew he'd be a 30 goal scorer at 22 years old? Like, oh, what a surprise. Like, I don't know. I was pretty pissed when we moved that, to be honest. And like OEL, like he was all right for us, but like, take him at $3 million, not $8 million. So
for sure. OEL,
we were not pissed. We were not pissed.
No.
It stung a little bit to lose Garland. I do remember that day. We loved Garland because he's just that homegrown player, 5th round pick, complete underdog, just literally scoring goals with his face. He cared about the team, and he was our little spark of light. No pun intended. I didn't mean to say little, but let's call a spade a spade. It really did hurt to lose that. And, but Trent, he's obviously this huge prospect nerd. And I say that in the best possible way possible, or the best possible way. Wow. He was pumping Genther's tires for the longest time. And he's like, if we leave this draft with Genther after getting the 9th overall pick, then you guys are going to be happy. And sure as shit, that's where we're at. So I'm super pumped.
I wish you guys took Tyler Boucher. I wish you took some cost for that pick.
I don't even want to think of that alternate reality somewhere. Somewhere the Coyotes.
John Scheika would have. John Scheika would have done.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah,
yes, he would have.
I'm not leaving the draft without this player.
Yep.
Victor Soderstrom. So that was an interesting trade. So it's funny you mentioned Connor Bedard, because I feel like there was a quote recently, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Connor Bedard, it was before a game that the then Utah Hockey Club played against the Blackhawks. Connor Bedard specifically mentioned Genther as being one of the bright young stars, saying he's got one of the best shots in the league. Yeah. So it's interesting to know that they actually had some history in the past, and that at one point they were being compared to each other. I feel pretty good about that. I don't know.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine being able to rip a shot like that, dude. Like it's like a superpower or something. That's like I might as well dream of flying. Like it'll never be anywhere close to that. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Man. Yeah, being able to shoot that well, like no matter what you do in the NHL, like what you do anywhere else in the game, if you can shoot that well, like you're probably gonna have a job one day, and you can probably be on the power play. And look at Line A right now. Like no disrespect to him, but like he scored at like a 30-something goal pace, despite everything else he does on the ice is very little. Like man, that's crazy. And then Genther does that while being so fast and so smart, and he's like so young. Like be serious. Like that's such an exciting player. I love Genther.
We're clearly trying to bait your next video. by the way.
That's right.
It might be, maybe one day, maybe, if he starts the year well, maybe that's a little quick video. But man, I love Connor Garland though. Like, if we can be honest for a second, like, he was so big in the playoffs last year that it made me, like, even though I knew, like, deep down we lost that trade pretty hard, it kind of gave me a bit of like, okay, all is well in the world, like, we wouldn't be here unless that trade happened. Like, Garland, won us this game. And yeah, I mean, this year it's just kind of like, come on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the 60-point 22-year-old, like, be serious.
Yeah. Every time he shoots the puck, I pull a groin just watching it. It's hard. I'm like, I am so unathletic. It's not even funny. So who's your favorite NHL player growing up?
Man, Alex Burrows, for sure.
What?
That's
awesome.
Yeah, I know, that's
Good,
a controversial. No, if you were from Vancouver, you get it though. Like, he was like
for sure.
the hero, man. Oh my God.
Oh,
Only in Vancouver.
Yeah,
only in
only
Vancouver,
in
though.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
That's like a Boston fan like 10 years ago saying Marchand. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
I recognize that Burrows was hated everywhere, like, to be fair, but man, I loved him so much. And then he scored that Game 7 overtime winner, and then the Game 2 overtime winner against Boston. Like, yeah, crazy, so sick. He was always getting dirty in the corners, kind of like Hyman right now. Like, yeah, awesome player.
Yeah, it's fun to watch him with the Sedins. It's like, what a weird line combination. He was in the ECHL years prior, and it's crazy. So.
He played ball hockey growing up too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, like before he got an ECHL contract, he was like a ball hockey pro. Like, he was winning ball hockey tournaments.
So you're
crazy.
saying still have a chance at the NHL?
You got
what you're telling me.
If you can play with the Sedins one day, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Fingers crossed. My draft year was 2010. I'm still waiting for the call. I think I had my phone on Do Not Disturb that day, but we'll find out. So,
Jacob was taking you.
Yes, right, exactly. He hired me at Wendy's, though. That was pretty cool. Top 3 jerseys of all time.
Oh, that's a crazy one. Okay, well, you know what? It's kind of nice, because I would say the Coyotes Kachina is up there.
Let's go.
Yeah, be serious. I mean, still retired now, but that's so sick.
It's fitting because there's a skull now.
Oh, sad.
R.I.P.
You don't got to do that to him. You don't got it. And then Canucks skate, like, be serious as well. Like, that's such an iconic jersey.
Awesome.
And then this one's a little controversial nowadays. Like, the Blackhawks is so sick.
Yeah.
And like, they were our rival forever, and I still, like, man, like, I love that jersey. I almost wanted to get one, but like, that would have been a little crazy growing up. So
yeah,
I think you put that Blackhawks kit. You put all 32 kits in front of a team of 10-year-olds who don't know anything about hockey. I feel like Blackhawks is getting picked.
Yeah,
constantly. It's just so cool. And it's so beyond just the jersey, the way it all works together. It looks unreal.
Yeah, and the shoulder patches and oh my God.
Yeah. The shade of red and just the color combination. The best thing that they did is getting rid of that toilet bowl jersey collar when Adidas first came out.
Yeah.
That was disgusting. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's 2015 or something, 2016 around then. Like,
ew. What are you doing? Yeah, you're ruining a jersey. So
Speaking of which,
that Vancouver black kit with the black matte black helmet.
Yeah.
Go to that full time. You guys have one of the best kits in the league.
It's gotta have.
Yeah.
They're changing the seats at Rogers Arena to make them all black. So I think it's like they're kind of slowly doing it.
Cool.
But the seats were red for the last 20 years. So I don't know. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with that stuff. I don't know. They're making it black. Maybe that means something, but maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, you can't go wrong. I would love it. I'd love to see it in white too. So if you were the commissioner of the NHL for a day, what changes do you make? And how quickly would everybody's profile player picks be turned into your own headshots?
Okay, well, I mean, the profile picks is happening right away. Like, that's probably first thing. And then I guess once we figure out that, I get everyone doing that. I think what I would do is kind of work on contract length. I think I want it to be even shorter, if I'm being honest. I don't know about you guys, but when I see like, one of my big things when I talk about the NHL kind of getting more exciting is just more player movement and player movement from guys who, like, the storyline is relevant. So, when you see, like, Claude Giroux going to Ottawa when he's, 34 years old, it's like, okay, like, he was a superstar, but like, the team wasn't that good. Like, if he left like a couple years earlier, maybe that would have been a little bit more exciting. That's, you know, a superstar leaving. So
Sure.
I think like a 3-year contract max with
Whoa.
the idea that if it's kind of like NBA bird rights, where if you play somewhere for like 5 years, then you can go up to a 5-year extension or something like that. Like, you know, something where, and then you can do that with 3 players, and then, okay, you have your, you know, franchise guys, but like, you know, like even then it's only 5 years. So it's not these 8-year contracts where you'll never see, you know, I want to see Dylan Genther in a Canucks jersey one day. So, you know, give him a 3-year contract. Like, be serious. Let's see what happens.
You
It
know,
was great talking to you, man. Have a good one.
You know what? We could say thank God for the Buffalo Sabres, because they're good. They're the
That's
one
what everyone
team
can say.
that moves out all those superstars when they're still relevant and is the
They're the
feeder
NHL
for the rest of
team.
the league. So yeah, thanks to Buffalo. Imagine how dull the league would have been over the last 10 years without him, right?
Oh my God, no one would be doing anything,
Kevin
or they'd just be winning cups, you know.
Yeah, true.
No, that's really interesting, especially because we've talked about on the show a lot with potentially 34 teams or more in the next, you know, 10 years here. It would not surprise me if one of the biggest strategies a GM can do is just lock up your guys just immediately. I wouldn't be shocked if we start to see less bridge contracts, because you just can't afford to potentially like lose those guys. You just lock them up. Because all of a sudden, you know, a guy who is typically a third line center is playing 2C on teams because of just the lack of depth in the league. Now, I think their quality of prospects coming up is increasing. I also think with any sport, opportunity is a huge factor in success. So I think there will be plenty of players who may not be projected to be top 6 guys or top 4 defensemen that become that because of that opportunity. But I think in a way to counteract the increasing amount of teams and to help with teams that are struggling to kind of get the ball rolling, maybe even reducing down to 5 would be crazy. Just to increase the movement.
They're dropping it 1 year. Like it's like 6 year for UFA deals or for free agent deals, and then 7 for long-term extensions. I think that's already a step in the right direction, though.
For sure.
Well, but so dropping the UFA deals kind of helps get rid of or increases the movement, because all the dumb GMs make such bad decisions, they're stuck with it, and then they have to move the superstar to pretend. So.
Double-edged sword.
Actually, Canucks got that pretty hard the last decade. So.
Jim Benning's like, what did I do?
He's trying his best, man.
Shout out to Jason Greger too, because Jason Greger's been beating that drum for a long time, and he's like, you know, if you just start increasing the draft age, which I'm also a fan of, and then, you know, shorten these contracts, it's you know, it makes for a more competitive and less of a quote unquote crapshoot for, you know, the quality of player that you're going to have on your roster. So you have a much clearer projection of what it looks like in the future.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Actually, raising the draft age while you're also lowering the contract length. And you know what? The other thing is like removing the amount, or maybe limiting the amount of no trade clauses and no movement clauses.
I
think they're a little bit crazy. Like the NBA, like there's only a handful of guys who even have one. And then the NHL, like it's probably more no trade clauses on, you know, Toronto than there is in the entire NBA. So I think that's a little bit like out of hand. And it's like you respect the guy and you want him to, like, you know, be able to find a home where you can stay for a while. But at the same time, like if you're getting paid $5 million a year, like maybe like that's part of the job. And like if it makes the product more exciting overall, I don't know. It could be worth thinking about, but I guess the players would never vote for that. So that's a hard one.
You never know. Things are changing and changing fast. So it's you know, it's good to see the NHL is actually, you know, making moves instead of just sticking with this this product that didn't work after a while. It got pretty boring in the dead puck era. So just a last couple quick ones here. I don't know if you're interested, but I got this wicked neon sign that says Utah Hockey Club. I got duped, and the reason why I'm throwing this out there is, what does a guy like me and the rest of the 3 of us, Corey's not here today, he's our good friend up in Toronto, what do we have to do? Do I have to trade my neon sign, the fake one, totally real by the way, for a big headshot from you guys? How do we get one of those?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that sign looks pretty sick. Well, you got the blur on right now, though. I can't really
Oh,
see
dude,
it.
how do I don't know how to turn that
If we're
off.
making if we're making
It's
a fair
literally a
trade, I
piece of
gotta see this
cardboard.
sign.
His
literally a
house is
piece
just
of cardboard.
blurry. He just lives in a blurry
Yeah,
house.
blurry house. Built it blurry.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me see. I think I know how to do this. I think I know how to do this.
Yeah, Kenny thought he was getting a neon sign for $30, and it turned out to be a piece of paper.
Dude, it was rough.
Oh, are you serious? Okay,
I'm not lying,
follow
dude.
anymore. Oh,
I
I think my artist blocked me.
yeah, exactly.
Can't make that anymore.
Well, we'll open it up for negotiations, but definitely interested in chatting about getting our own clean hits headshot big head. But dude, it was such a crap show. I was like, oh my god, I can get a neon sign. This could be perfect for the podcast setup. It's gonna be so sick. I paid $54, including shipping, for a piece of cardboard.
It was on Temu, hey?
No, it was NHL.com.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote a strongly
NHL.com
worded
did that?
letter that got to absolutely nobody but a spam.
Man.
So now we know what Kenny would do if he was commissioner for a day.
Yeah, right. And I saw when they released the Mammoth merch, I'm like, how dare they introduce it with a Mammoth head in there too? I'm like,
Oh my god, that's brutal.
I think the box that they sent it in, Francis, was is worth more than the cardboard that's hanging up on that wall.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the box nice? Was it, like
it's a nice
was it
box,
hard to
we used it.
open and
A lot of tape. Yeah, they were trying to keep it safe. That's why I felt really good about it when I saw it on my patio. I'm like, oh, this is nice. They kept it safe, probably bubble wrapped. I'm like, this is pretty light. This is pretty light. When I picked it up,
Doesn't feel like a neon
such a
sign.
bad feeling.
yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, like I said, well, I'll find something I'll trade, but definitely interested in that. But in all seriousness, man, we are a big fan of yours, and we would love to help you any way we can. How can we help you continue your growth and support you along your journey to stardom? Because we know you're getting there, man.
Oh, cheer. Thank you. Well, I don't know, just keep being nice guys, keep being good fans and stuff, and I guess we'll all just be friends,
There we
it.
go.
Figure it out.
That's it.
How about that?
I just wanted to butter you up one more time for a clean.
No, it feels good. It feels
Clean
great.
hits.
It's probably gonna bring me back one day.
right,
Show
let's
up
go.
here, my confidence is low.
Yeah, we would love to. We'd love to. We're big tire pumpers around here, so we appreciate you, Francis. It's been awesome, man.
Yeah,
it's been unreal.
Yeah,
thanks so much for having me, guys. It's been so fun.
No problem.
Yeah, no, and make sure you're following Francis and all the Big Head Hockey accounts. Definitely check out the YouTube videos. There, you'll be addicted immediately. Clear out your schedule. You're going to want to watch it for a couple hours. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed to all things Big Head Hockey. Francis, this was fantastic. We'll get you on the show again. And good luck with the Canucks and trying to lock down Quinn Hughes to a 3-year contract. That would be ideal for you guys, right?
Come on, he's signing 8.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one, bud.
Thank you so much. All right.
Take
Have a good time.
You too.
We know we running it now.